Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing outside of normal processing time requests or inquiries to USCIS. And especially here recently in the kind of, malaise of this post-COVID response, I don't even know what you want to call it, where things are kind of reopening, and we've had a backlog. It's been pretty severe backlog this past year. Although I will say stuff that was at NBC is really moving along out here to the embassy. But USCIS seems to be moving a little slower, especially when it comes to receiving and sending out receipt notices. But this video is on the processing time, sort of the, whatever you want to call it, standard processing times associated with a petition. And I get a lot of inquiries from folks, the day after a case goes, past the quote-unquote normal processing times. And I really I would make a strong argument there kind of isn't a normal processing time. Now, I'm not saying that if you file an I-130 and you've been sitting around for months and months and months and months, that perhaps some kind of inquiry is not warranted. It's going to be circumstantially dependent. But, a lot of people ask me about, making an inquiry, and, I don't think it really does much. Candidly, it might cause them to kind of remember that case is out there, but I mean, they've got filing cabinets probably as far as the eye can see. In fact, I probably liken it to the ending scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they take the Lost Ark into the giant warehouse and it just gets lost. I suspect USCIS isn't too far unlike that at their service centers. And I'm not saying that in the pejorative sense. I just simply mean they got a lot going on. They've just got a lot of cases. And I'm also not defending them. They need to get this stuff done in a timely manner. That said, there's a very big difference between a substantial amount of time outside normal processing windows and a day outside of normal processing windows. And some of my clients get a little miffed with me because, they'll say, well, why don't we send something? It's like, let's just give them a second. And usually, within a pretty reasonable period of time, oftentimes it's almost like a week, after the time somebody wants me to send one of these in, that, some action occurs on it in its own right. The other thing is, again, I really don't like that USCIS even came up with this notion of standard or normal processing times or outside of normal processing times. Well, especially in the aftermath of all this COVID where they were shut down for so long, I mean, what is a normal processing time? I'm not defending them. It's just the system is what it is. And my personal opinion is oftentimes it may not be the best use of resources, to be inquiring on something that's one day past this sort of arbitrary time frame that's been set by USCIS. Again, it's going to be factually and circumstantially dependent. There are cases we send stuff in on because, USCIS loses stuff from time to time. It's one of the reasons I like doing paper filings, because it's much less likely that stuff gets lost. I don't like things being on a server where they can just poof and disappear. So long story short, they exist. We do use them, but relatively infrequently, and mostly because, oftentimes it's just not warranted, and usually things kind of process out in about the time frame they normally would.